First of all, you have a primary domain. A primary domain is considered as the domain that you wish to publish the majority of your content to, right? So it could be a subdomain, it could be a root domain if you're looking to go onto the HubSpot CMS. The important thing to mention is when you connect a domain as your primary domain, connect, for example, a landing page to it, if you wanted to connect other domains to that, they would have to be secondary. Primary is primary for a reason. You can only have one domain, which brings us on to the topic of secondary. So if primary is your default kind of domain that you want to host content to the majority of the time, a secondary domain might be something you want to connect, which might be a microsite, right? So like you might have Fulius as a domain that you want to connect. That is what our primary domain would be. And maybe we launch a new product, right? And we have a separate little website for that we want to host within HubSpot. And that is a perfect use case of a secondary domain, where it isn't our primary domain we're going to be publishing content to, but we want to connect it to our HubSpot. So occasionally we can create a landing page for it that isn't sitting on the Fulius domain. You then have redirects. Very simply, you could obviously purchase a number of domains if you wanted to. So for example, we could purchase Fulius.com. We could also look at getting Fulius.co.uk. Now, obviously, we don't want to have two websites on two different domains. So we can actually connect maybe Fulius.co.uk as a redirect domain in our HubSpot to redirect to Fulius.com. So that means that if someone was to wrongly type that suffix, they get almost triaged to the right place they need to end up, rather than landing on a separate domain and you've lost that traffic, or that it goes to an error 404 and it can't be found. And then lastly, you have an email sending domain. So if you've got a primary domain, which is for hosting content, you've got secondary, which is like a microsite, you've got the redirect, which is very much just redirecting a version of your domain to another one. The email sending is the last piece of the puzzle. And essentially what that means is allowing HubSpot to authenticate itself in your DNS as your mass marketing email sender. So basically you're telling HubSpot and authenticating it to say that HubSpot is allowed to send marketing emails from an address of my choosing. So it might be marketing@fulius.com, right? So email sending is an added layer of authentication to allow you to send marketing emails, but also to allow you to avoid spam traps and improve deliverability. So that's a really key point when you're considering your domains.